Okay, so good morning, everyone. Welcome to Gentle Yoga. Today, we're going to be working on balance. So if you need something nearby, if you're like really feel like you're going to fall during a balancing position, you can have a chair or a wall nearby. I will be encouraging you to not use anything, but of course, if you think you might fall, I don't want to put you in danger, right? Or encourage you putting yourself into danger. We are going to start on the floor, so come on down. Coming onto your back, bending your knees, arms alongside the body. Let your thighs touch, feet go wide. Place one hand on your belly and one hand on your low ribs. We're going to be practicing three-part breathing. So as you inhale, let your belly soften, your low back soften and swell. And then the low ribs expand. And then at the very last, your chest expands. And then as you exhale, chest comes down, low ribs, belly. Inhaling belly, low ribs, chest. Exhaling chest, low ribs, belly. Do that twice more on your own. Filling up your trunk like you would a glass of water from the bottom to the top. And then emptying out the trunk like you would a glass of water. It goes down the bottom. And then we'll take a three-part breath to inhale and prepare for Om. But first we'll just exhale. Inhale for your Om. And giving yourself an inner smile or an outer smile. Welcome yourself to your practice this morning. Welcome. And then bringing the arms alongside the body. Walk the feet towards each other until you're ready for a bridge prep. So heels under knees. Keep your gaze on the ceiling. We're going to lift and lower the hips with the breath. So on an inhale, lift the hips, swing the arms up and back behind you. On the exhale, rolling down the spine, one vertebrae at a time. Use your tummy as the arms swing back and alongside the body. Just like that. Keep moving with the breath. And of course, your gaze continues to be on the ceiling so that the neck is in a good position throughout the posture. Keep moving. Last one. Rolling down the spine. And then once again, bring your hands to your tummy. Exhale completely and draw your abdominal wall in until the low back presses to the mat. Keep that low back pressing to the mat. And we're going to do a variation of like a core exercise that we've done before. You're going to draw your right knee into your chest, but keep your left foot on the floor. Arms are going to stay along. Actually, let's keep our hands on our belly. The belly is hollowed. And on an inhale, keep the belly hollowed as you bring your right leg horizontal. So horizontal, just extending it away from the body. And then the exhale, vertical, swinging that leg vertical. Keep the belly hollow. Inhale, horizontal left leg. Hover it, hollow belly. Exhale, now bend the right knee into the chest. This is a core exercise, inhaling right leg vertical, flex the foot. So as you exhale, you get a stretch behind the leg, vertical leg. Inhale, hollow belly, low back stays to the mat. Exhale, knee pulls in. Let's do that once more, horizontal. Exhale, vertical. Now we'll pause here Hands behind the thigh if you can reach it. You can press the thigh into the hands, toes peeling towards the knee. And now point the foot, stretching the top of the foot. Go nice and easy if you know you tend to cramp in the foot. And now try to point, using just your ankle, point your toes to the left. So now we're stretching the outside of the ankle. And now using the ankle, point the toes to the right. Don't move the leg. So you're just kind of going left and right, just laterally pointing the toes to the right. And then come back through center. And once again, point the toes. And then flex the foot. And let's do some pointing and flexing. And then circle, using just the ankle, circling the toes. We're warming up the ankle, so important as we approach some balancing postures. And then bending the right knee into the chest. You're going to grab a hold of the outside of the right ankle and come into half happy baby. Now, I'm doing the very gentle version of this. Some of you might be able to grab a hold of the outside of the right foot. So you could either, the knee is the right knee is moving out to the right. And you could straighten that bottom leg if you like. Feel your breath. Good. And then once again, bend that bottom leg if you straighten it. Left foot to the floor. Gently release right foot next to left. Let's do the second side. So we're going to start from the top with the core exercise. Exhale, pull belly in. Press low back to the mat. Do your best to keep the low back to the mat the entire time. As you now inhale, extend the left leg horizontal. Just hover it above the mat. Flex the foot. As you exhale, left leg vertical. Feel the stretch. Then inhale, horizontal. Low back stays to the mat. Exhale, knee to chest. Just like that. Hollow belly, inhale, horizontal, flat low back. Inhale, vertical. Oh, exhale, vertical. Inhale, horizontal. Exhale, knee to chest. Keep moving on your own. We'll do this a handful of times. As we move through this practice, the tendency will be for the low back to come away from the mat. The core exercise happens by us hollowing the belly and pressing low back to the mat the entire time. And then the next time the leg is vertical, let's pause there. Let's stretch it out. Hands behind the back of the thigh if you can reach it. And then we'll warm up the ankle. So little points and flex. So as you're warming up the ankle, I'll just tell you a little bit. Today we're going to be going over the 5th foundation of mindfulness as per John Kabat-Zinn's mindful-based stress reduction program, and from his book, Full Catastrophe Living. And the 5th one, the 5th foundational attitude as we approach our mindfulness practice is non-striving. Okay, let's do that little side to side. So just from the ankle, point the toes to the right. So you're stretching the outside of the ankle. Leg doesn't move. And then point the toes to the left. It's okay if it's not a big deal. And then once again, point and flex the foot. So non-striving. Place the left foot. Oh, let's get to that happy baby. So bend the left knee into the chest. I'll start with the gentle version. I reach through the inside of the leg, grab the outside of the left ankle, and then try to flex the left foot towards the ceiling to get that stretch. People often report that they're feeling it in the outer hamstring. You can always grab a hold of the outside of the foot if that feels like a better fit. Maybe you straighten opposite leg. Breathe into it. So as human beings, basically whatever we do, we're often doing it for some goal. We're striving towards something, right? You came to class today for some reason, which isn't bad. But if we excessively are striving towards goals and we take that into our mindfulness practice, our practice of simply just being, it can become an obstacle. Okay, bend the bottom leg so that right foot comes to the floor. Release the left foot. And then let's roll on to our right side. So come on to your right side. Just sitting, laying on your right side rather. Knees bent. We're going to warm up the hips a little bit more. So the knees are bent and so that the heels are stacked and they're in line with your tailbone, and your tailbone is in line with the back of the head. And so we're going to do little lateral crunches as we warm up the hips. We've done these hinges before. The knees stay together and you're going to lift just your foot and then lower your foot. Lift the foot and lower. As you're lifting and lowering the foot, you're internally rotating that top thigh. Okay, and then we're going to add little kind of oblique crunches as we do this. So as you lift the foot, exhale and lift your head off the mat any amount, crunching the right side of your trunk. And then inhale, foot down, head down. Exhale, crunch, lifting head off the mat, lateral side bend of the trunk. Inhale, lower. Exhale, foot lifts, lift trunk and head. Exhale, lower. Let's do that twice more. Did I say it's the exhales the crunch, the inhales the lower. It is hot on this porch, you guys. Crunch and lower. Good. And then we'll roll on to our backs and do the second side. Roll over onto your right side. So I will rotate on my mat so I can see you all. Okay, here we are. Back in our position, knees bent, heels in line with our tail. And I'm just kind of keeping my left hand, my top hand on my hip. I just feel like it helps me notice, are my hips excessively swinging back and forth? Let's start with the legs. Knees together, lift the foot and lower it. Lift and lower it. Like an example of how striving could get in our way, even in this pose, would be maybe you just really feel compelled to lift the foot really high, even though the range of motion in your hips is limited this morning. And that's what would cause the hips to swing forward and backwards as you do this practice. And so I encourage you to stabilize and just lift the foot as high as it goes, right? So we can really get into the hip. We don't escape the posture. And then as you exhale, lift the foot, crunch, lifting the shoulders and head. Inhale, return foot down, head down. Exhale, crunch, lift. Inhale, lower, crunch. And so just an example of the way striving can get in the way of our mindfulness, of our mindful yoga practice. And then that ultimately just kind of, we get away from opening areas that perhaps we could open if we let go of striving a little bit more. Let's do this twice more. Okay, good. Let's come on to the back. Another opportunity for non-striving. We just want to approach our body, how we are today, this morning, what's going on. So I'm going to give you a couple versions. Draw the knees into the chest, spread them, and grab a hold of the ankles. So I'm going to reach between my knees, grab a hold of my ankles, soles of the feet together. Here we are in like a floating cobbler's pose. So meeting our hips where they are in this moment. Maybe this is where they are. Maybe we want to come into full happy baby. That's where we are this morning with our hips. So find your hip opener. I do ask that you keep your bottom, the back of your pelvis on the floor. Okay, so sometimes if the hips just aren't quite ready yet, the tail will come off, your tailbone will kind of come off the mat and the back will round. Take a few more breaths in whatever pose you decided to come into. And then releasing, let's roll to one side. Come on up to Sukhasana, a cross-legged position. Whatever ankle in front that you would like. We'll just be here for a few moments. Bring the back of your right hand to the outside of the left knee, left hand behind you. Let's take a twist. Exhale as you twist. Please do keep lifting your heart away from your belly button. Be as vertical in the spine as you can. Keep the twist. And now look over right shoulder. So head turns to the right. And then we're going to add a little something more. So let the right shoulder blade come away from the spine. So it's sliding from the spine using that lever that arm is. And then dip right shoulder down. Left arm sweeps up. Left bicep overhead as we're dipping right shoulder towards the right knee. Just a nice side stretch here. Inhale some more length into your left side body. Exhale, let go of something. And then inhale, come on up. Let's do the second side. So the back of the left hand to the outside of the left knee. Let's inhale this time, get really long. And then as we go into the twist, exhale, turn, looking over right shoulder. So at this point, your spine is like a lightning rod. It is long and vertical, heads turning over to the right just for a moment. Let that left shoulder kind of come away from the spine. Soft shoulders away from the ears. Now totally keep all this and head turns to the left. Looking over left shoulder. Now let's take it into that side bend. Reach right arm up overhead. Dip left shoulder towards left knee. And bicep by ear, big open heart. Rotating the heart to the right. Inhale, lengthening the right side of the body. Exhale, releasing something. And then inhale, come on up. Now let's just cross the right arm over left, right hand to the right shoulder, left hand behind you as well. So you're giving yourself a little bit of hug, a soft little hug. Drop your chin to your chest. Lift your chest to your chin at the same time. Feel the stretch in the back of the neck. And try to draw your chin as close to your throat as you can. And then rolling left ear to left shoulder. Right ear to right shoulder. And then head back through center. Release. Rolling the shoulders. Okay, so here comes our fun balancing situation. Like I said at the beginning of class, if you feel like your ankles are really unstable and you need to have a wall nearby so you can grab it in case you might fall, then please do that. But I really encourage you to not grab the wall or a chair so you can lift your leg. So I'm going to give opportunities. You can certainly learn to balance with both feet on the floor, just more weight on one leg. If that's you, then do you today, because that's what this non-striving is about in our mindful yoga practice. So come on up to stand. And we'll just take a moment in Tadasana. Just build it from the foundation up. We warmed up those ankles, legs, feet, core. So on an exhale, draw your abdominal wall in. Keep it in. Hands to hips. Find a neutral position for your pelvis, neither tucked or swinging back. Nice neutral position for you. I'll show you my side view. And then feet are under our hips. We're feeling grounded. And so here's what we're going to do. You're going to bring your hands to your heart. And on an inhale, you're going to lift your heels any amount. On the exhale, you're going to lower. Continue with your breath, inhaling, getting tall, exhaling, lowering. Maybe the heels don't really lift that much, or perhaps you just shift the weight into the front of your foot. That's totally fine. If you would like more of a challenge, you'll inhale, sweeping the arms up overhead as you lift the heels. As you exhale, heels come down, hands back to Anjali Mudra. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, lowering. Maybe you get up and you have to take a little walk or something so you don't fall. That's okay too. So with this non-striving attitude in our mindfulness practice as we approach our yoga asana practice, we are holding space for the wiggle, for the walk, for any feelings that we have about ourselves and balance. It can be a touchy subject, right? And then you're going to pick a position to have your arms in as you hold with the heels up, right? So maybe the arms are just out to the side, maybe the palms together, maybe arms overhead. Do keep your gaze on something on the horizon. Keep breathing. In fact, let's take one more round of breath here. And then with an exhale, lowering back down. Check those feet, make sure the toes are pointing forward. The feet are underneath your hip sockets, and then we'll do a little bit of chair pose in and out. So on the exhale, swing your arms forward, sit back. On the inhale, just stand up. Heels are on the floor this whole time. Exhale, bottom back. Inhale, standing. And as you're doing this, try to keep the feet from rolling to the insides of the feet or the outsides of the feet. You want to keep those thighs parallel. So all kinds of interesting things will happen as we're cultivating strength and stability in the legs. The knees might try to come out or in. Holding space for what's present and then adjusting your posture. Okay, you can flow in and out of this chair pose 3 more times, or if you'd like to build a little bit more strength, you can pause in chair pose for 3 breaths. Again, we're watching, we're making sure equal weight on all 4 corners of the feet. The knees aren't falling in or falling out. Broad chest. And after your 3rd breath, you'll just stand up. And then just take a moment to connect to the sensation of the soles of your feet on the floor. Okay, all right. So more balancing fun. You're going to come to towards the back of your mat, I would say, finding your mountain position, and that includes tummy in, neutral pelvis, feet parallel. And then I'll give you some arm variations. So starting with most gentle, the palms would be together in your heart. And that would be if you find that balance is very challenging, meet yourself where you are. Another option would be arms just out to a T. This would be a good one if you have a frozen shoulder. Another one could be fingertips behind your head. And another one would be arms overhead, fingers interlaced as you extend your index finger. I like this one. My shoulders are feeling okay, and I find it helps me activate my core. So I'm going to do the arms overhead. Please, you do you. Shift your weight into your left foot and just lift your right heel. So the right knee is bending a little bit. Keep the belly in. Keep your pelvis as neutral as possible. It's interesting, the non-striving, we can refer back to previous foundations of mindfulness being patience and trust, trusting that we don't need to go further than we can actually go in this posture. Our body will unfold and strengthen in its own way. So maybe we stay here, the foot on the floor. Maybe we lift the foot any amount. Please press your standing foot down deep into the earth. You are a lightning rod. Vertical, tall, open, expansive. Notice the quality of your breath. And then take a nice big step forward with your right foot. Big step forward. We're going to open up into a warrior two position, opening the arms out to the left arm back behind you, okay? And then warrior two, we've got our right knee bent. Generally, the front heel and the back arch are in alignment, so you're on a tightrope for this guy. And then we're going to do something interesting. It's like somewhere between warrior two and triangle pose, and it's a no handsy version, making it even more challenging and exploratory. So bring your hands to your hips and start to straighten that right knee. So it's just in a little micro bend. And then from here, lower your right shoulder over your right knee. And then bring yourself back up, spine back up. We're going to practice that a couple more times. So exhaling, tilting trunk to the right, kind of like triangle pose. Inhaling, coming up. Okay, we're going to add the left arm. Let's lift that left arm straight overhead. Inhale. On the exhale, dip right shoulder, swing left arm behind you. Look at right foot. So a little neck stretch here. Inhale, come back up again, lift left arm. Let's do that a few more times. Exhale, left arm goes back, right shoulder dips, turn head to the right. Inhale, looking forward now, left arm over, head. Good, a few more times. Exhale is the movement. Inhale is coming up. Now this time we're going to come into the posture and just hold it. Hold it, right? Left arm back. So this is the position where at some point, right, if we were in triangle pose, maybe we'd try to reach for that floor or lock that right knee. Instead, we're just hanging out, building strength in that right leg. Great way to bring more presence of mind, more stability of mind, a deeper connection to your body and this planet is cultivating leg strength. One more breath here. And then inhale, come on up. So let's heel toe our feet together. Mountain pose, take a moment just noticing the sensations of your body and your breath. And then we're going to link together the chair moving flow with the heels. So here's how we'll go. On an exhale, you'll bend your knees, your rear goes back, arms just can go forward. You don't have to worry about lifting them overhead if you don't want to. That's the exhale. Now, on the inhale, lift the heels, arms come alongside the body, heel lift. Exhale, heels come to the floor, bend the knees, rear goes back. Now, how far you go either direction is what you is up to you, right? Because you're meeting yourself mindfully. Where are you today? Going back and forth. Feel the strength of your bottom. Let's do that once more. A little seat, a little lift. And then mountain pose. Okay, second side. So moving towards the back of your mat. Find your arm position today, what you need to help stabilize yourself as you go into this balancing position. I'll find mine. Make sure your tummy's in, pelvis is neutral. Shift the weight into your right foot. Some things that can kind of happen when we start to practice balance is that in our striving for stability or to stay up, we'll hold our breath, right? Or our striving for stability to stay up, we'll lock our standing leg. And that's that actually, both those things make things worse. So be flexible, feel the breath flow, bring your gaze to something eye level on the horizon. Long sides of the waist. Maybe we lift that left foot. Nice level hips, pressing our standing foot into the floor, meeting yourself in this moment where you are. That's the practice of mindfulness. You doing you, whatever you looks like in this moment. And then we'll take a big step forward and move into our little warrior two position. Okay, and I'll turn around so I can see you all. Okay, here we are. All right, and then we're going to move back from that warrior two. You could just check it. Make sure that the left toe is pointing to the top of your mat, back foot turning in, and then the heel, front heel, and back arch are lined up. Okay, come out of the warrior two a little bit. So now you're just a little micro bend left knee. Bring our hands to our hips, and we'll practice on this side. Exhale, dip the left shoulder. Inhale, bring it up. Using the strength of our legs to do this. Dip and bring it up. Now, if you're moving in and out of this posture and you're like, I'm feeling pain somewhere in my body, maybe you're going too deep. Maybe your stance is too wide. Perhaps you need to check your foot position. And of course, you are your best yoga teacher. Maybe you're like, this just isn't my jam today. Cool. Okay, let's add the arm. So the right arm is going to come up overhead as you lift. As you lower, right arm comes back, head turns, look at the left foot. A little bit of a neck stretch. Inhaling, coming up. Exhaling, keep the tummy in. And I like to have my right palm as I bring it back out to the side behind me. I like to have it up. I find it really helps spiral my bicep into a position that encourages an open chest. So we want to have an open chest. We want to have a long spine as we come in and out of this. Let's do this one more time, and then we're going to pause holding it. Open chest. So this posture is a variation of Gary Kraftow's like Vinny Yoga. If you like Vinny Yoga, any Vinny Yoga fans out there. What I like so much about these postures is that there's like nowhere to rest your hat. There's like there's nowhere to be like, am I in the pose? Am I not in the pose? Like, good. And then we'll come on back up. And let's heel toe, feet together. And then once again, we'll go through that chair flow. So exhale, rear back, thighs are parallel. Inhale, elevate the heels nice and slow. Arms alongside the body, open chest. And then flowing like that. If you're feeling a little spicy, you want to get a little bit more challenge in your balance, your choice, you can sweep your arms overhead as you stand up and lift the heels. So that would be like, and then circling them out to the sides and sitting back. Feel the glutes work. And we'll do one more. And end in a balancing posture. So maybe arms are overhead, gazing something on the horizon. You could bring the hands together. Give yourself a little inner smile, whatever's going on. And then release. Heels down. Mountain pose, arms alongside the body. Notice. Okay. Let's meet on the floor, face down. Okay, let's move into a pec stretch. So we're going to stretch the front of our right shoulder. Bring left hand underneath your shoulder, elbow bent. Right arm comes to half a T, so wrist in line with right shoulder. And then bend your elbow a little bit. And then press the hand into the floor till the shoulder blade really comes into place. Scapula comes towards the spine, shoulders moving away from the ear. We've got a long right side of the neck. Press, press, press. And you might feel like this is kind of a nice stretch in the right arm. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you turn your head to the right cheek to the mat, and then slowly roll, lifting the left hip over right any amount. I like to keep my knees just kind of bent here and stacked as I gently press that right palm into the floor. It's almost like you're going to try to press it down and then slide it, slide it away from the body. Options here. You could bring the left foot back behind you. A nice way to open the front of the left hip would be just to swing the left foot, the straightened left leg back behind you, like any amount until you start to feel a stretch. We'll be here for 2 to 3 more breaths. And then come on back onto the belly. We're going to do a little bit of an interesting one here. Bring the right arm now so that it's like comes right over the top corner of your mat. You're a bit on a diagonal position now, that right arm. Bring the right side of the face to the mat once more, and then once again roll. And you're probably not going to be able to roll as far this time. It's kind of awkward. You want to keep the shoulder on the back, so keep the arm plugged into the body, please. I'm getting a stretch now kind of in the armpit. Not so much about how far you're rolling, how much you're lifting, but what is the quality of the sensation in that right shoulder, in the right pec? Taking care of yourself. And then let's roll back onto our chest, and we'll do the same thing, second side. So I'm just going to rotate so we can see. Right hand underneath shoulder, left arm out to a T. Spread the fingers wide, and then bend the left elbow a little bit. Start by pressing the left palm into the floor until the shoulder blade slides down the back towards the spine. Keep that engagement. We're strong in the muscles between the shoulder blades in this posture. This is active. This is an active posture. Head turns to the right, left cheek to the mat, and then start to roll any amount. Trying to press the left palm down into the floor, and maybe like isometrically, you're like trying to slide it away from your body. It's not going to go anywhere. Imagine it's glued. Feel the breath. Maybe you do something different with your legs. The right foot can come behind you. Try stretching the front of the right hip by straightening the top leg and then swinging it back. Keep engaged in that left arm though. One more breath. And then come on back onto the belly. Let's do that like armpit stretch. So left arm on diagonal away from the body so that the forearm's like coming over the top corner of the mat generally. And then rolling once again onto your left side. And it might not be much of a roll, might be just shifting your weight more to the left. Feel the breath. And then come on back onto the belly. Arms are going to come alongside the body, palms down. Walk your feet away from the top of the mat so your spine's nice and long now. And now have your fingers walk like 8 inches away from the body. So their hands are on either side of the mat at this point. Forehead to the mat. Press your fingertips into the floor and draw your shoulder blades together. So lifting the shoulders, just the shoulders off the floor. Everything else is on the mat. Exhale, draw the tummy in. And with an inhale, now lift your chest and your head off the mat, keeping the engagement of the shoulders. This is a really nice posture to strengthen the muscles that help us stand tall and open-hearted. Draw your chin towards your chest as you're staying lifted. And instead, lift the back of your head instead of your chin as you come into this strengthening back bend. Strong bottom, strong glutes. Pointing your tail towards your heels. Lengthen the low back. Let's take about 3 more breaths here. And then exhale, release. And shimmy the hips. You could bend the knees and wag the feet. Soften, soften, soften. And then let's flip on over. Flip onto your back. Let's take a delicious twist. So the knees are going to come into the chest. Arms go left and right. And then swinging the knees over towards the right elbow. Nice tight twist to help relieve any tension remaining in the back. Wring it out. Okay, if your left shoulder's popping off the mat, try to do your best to kind of move the left shoulder towards the mat, but if it doesn't get there, that's all right. Do turn your head to the left if that feels okay for your neck. Thighs are as close to the chest as possible. Breathe deep. One more round of breath. And then inhale, come back through center. Take a moment. And then let's proceed to the next side. With an exhale, knees go left. And your heart is turning right, head turning right. Again, the knees are as close to that left elbow as you can get them. Thighs as close to your belly and chest as you can get them. Wringing out tension out of the spine. And I want you to breathe into any limitation that you feel in the trunk. So this twist is causing limitation, and I want you to breathe into the limitation. One more breath. And then come back through center. And you're either going to take that floating cobbler's pose or happy baby, whichever feels most delicious for you right now. I do encourage you, again, to keep the back of your pelvis on the floor, particularly where the tailbone is. And that way you'll send the stretch into the hips, into the inner groin. Maybe you start in this floating cobbler's position and then play around. Maybe one leg extends, the other. Great way to practice mindfulness, just noticing as you go slowly into a pose, what happens to the breath? What happens to the spine? You can always ease out of it if it doesn't feel like a good fit. A few more breaths wherever you are. And then release. Feet will come to the mat, knees together. Reclined pigeon, right ankle on left thigh. Reach the right arm through the legs and grab a hold of the back of the left leg with the right hand and left hand. The toes of your right foot are peeling towards the knee. Of course, if you can't reach that left leg, a nice option to do would be stuff like a pillow under your left foot or your block, and then you could be hands-free. And to deepen here, you'll just shift the weight of your body onto the left hip. So rolling the weight of the legs, or rather to the left. Breathe deep. Second side. Left ankle on top of right. Take a look at your left foot. Peel the toes towards the knee. Let the breath be an active participant in this pose. And to deepen, you'd roll the weight of your pelvis to the right. For the next few rounds of breath in this posture, explore how soft you can get your belly. If you want to breathe out through the mouth to help you let go a little further, you could do that. Soften your face. And then come back through center. Both feet are on the mat, knees bent. On the inhale, lift the hips, sweep the arms up and back behind you. We're going to float in and out of bridge a few more times. Exhale, roll down the spine, one vertebrae at a time, arms alongside the body. Keep moving with your breath, gazing to the ceiling. And then keeping the arms alongside the body. Inhale, lift the hips one last time, reaching the knees away from the heart away from the knees. Keep your gaze on the ceiling. One more breath. And then release. Okay, relaxation pose. So you could just slide those legs long. Maybe you want to do legs up the wall. Actually, legs up the wall would be a really nice complement to this practice. We did kind of pump quite a bit of blood into those legs. Maybe you want to slide a block under either knee if your back's feeling tense. So you do you in Shavasana. What do you need? Once you arrive, just scan through your body and ensure that you are indeed relaxing. In particular, relaxing the thighs, the glutes, the belly, and the face. And as you go into relaxation pose, I'll just read a little excerpt from Full Catastrophe Living by John Kabat-Zinn. He says, the best way to achieve your goals in a mindfulness practice is to back off from striving. Back off from striving for results and instead to start to focus carefully on seeing and accepting things as they are, moment by moment. With patience and regular practice, movement towards your goals will take place by itself. This movement becomes an unfolding that you are inviting to happen within you. So inviting whatever relaxation is available to you right now. If you can stay longer and would like to, please do give yourself a longer rest. If you need to move on with the rest of your day, begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. And then moving your body in any way that feels good until it culminates into a big morning stretch. And then gently drawing the knees into the chest. Give yourself a hug. Rolling to one side. Use the strength of your arms to come up for a seat. Bringing the palms together in front of your heart. Think of someone you'd like to dedicate your practice today to. And then we're going to send out the benefits of our practice to this special being. So we'll send it out on the exhale. Take a big breath to gather it up. Send it out. See them feeling good in their body, heart, and mind. Thank you so much for your practice today. Namaste.